Namaskar everyone and a very happy Basant Panchami to all. Today I will be sharing three techniques with you. The one will be most important one, that how to know that are you destined for a good consultation, good advice. Number two, how to find the education in the chart. And number three, the secret of Jupiter's aspect and why Jupiter aspect is not always good. How a Jupiter's aspect can spoil you. Yeah, because there is a big misconception related to it that people think whichever house Jupiter aspects, it gets saved, but actually it is not like that. Okay, it's the other way around, because sometimes it harms the house in a way that you are not able to understand. You are like, Jupiter is aspecting my seventh house, but my marriage is getting spoiled. Okay, so I will be sharing that secret, how to know that which of the aspect of Jupiter will give you good results and which one will give you bad results. So firstly, let me begin with the consultations, because many of you are asking for consultations. Many of you ask, can I get a good advice? See, getting a good consultation is the biggest blessing, because it's something which is controlled by Jupiter, Guru, Sagittarius, ninth house, ninth lord. These are the key planets involved in getting a good consultation from a good astrologer. In my research, on the charts of people who got good consultation, who got predictions like to the day, like astrologer predicted to them the day the event will happen. Okay, or the people who got lucky and who got to meet some of the rare astrologers, like very rare. Okay, I just took all of their charts and found one thing in common. All of them had a good Jupiter. All of them. Jupiter either in the watery sign 4, 8, 12, because 4, 8, 12 Jupiter is very strong. It's a kind of exalted, according to S.K. Mehta ji. It's the concept of S.K. Mehta ji. I use his system only to predict nowadays, okay? Because his system is the best, I must say. And I think he must have decoded from Nadi, because Nadi also uses a kind of a similar trine theory to predict. Okay, and now he's taking, like, Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, so trine signs are Scorpio and Pisces. Jupiter will be exalted in Scorpio and Pisces both. That's why when I look at the chart of Pandit Sanjay Rath ji, I see a Pisces Jupiter in Lagna, Digvali. It's kind of an exalted Digvali Jupiter in Lagna. What gave him a big personality of a guru? Okay, KN Rao ji has an exalted Jupiter in the 10th house. Sanjay Rath ji has an exalted Jupiter in Lagna in Pisces. Okay, that what made him a legendary guru. Okay, so use exaltation this way also. So 4 at 12 Jupiter is very brilliant. Ninth house, ninth lord in Jupiter should not be afflicted, should not be with malefics, either functional malefics or natural malefics. There should be no association with malefics. Okay, malefics should be strictly ignored here, because malefics just destroys the results, good results. So, Jupiter and unafflicted Jupiter, unafflicted ninth house, ninth lord. Okay, and 4 at 12 Jupiter is very good. Similarly, 2, 6, 10 Jupiter. Jupiter in Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn is very bad. It's not considered good. So, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, Jupiter, it should be ignored. Okay, and the houses, ninth house, ninth lord, and Jupiter should be unafflicted. Like one of the ladies I know, she had consulted best of the astrologers. Like she knew Mehtaji very closely. Mehtaji was her a very next door neighbor, you can say. She used to visit his home frequently, and she had seen him predicting on the charts. Like she predicted, Mehtaji predicted on her chart that your husband's father, his siblings, had one of the siblings have done marriage two times. Like he's married twice. Okay, because one of the marriage failed. He predicted to someone that your car always break downs at a red signal. Whenever red signals come, your car just break downs. So she had been witness of all these things. Okay, and as soon as I just got to know about her, I just asked for a chart, and one thing I was very sure that her Jupiter must be in very powerful position. And as soon as I opened the chart, it was Aries ascendant, fourth house Jupiter exalted in Cancer. Okay, that was, now see, in Aries ascendant, Jupiter is the ninth lord. Ninth lord getting exalted in the fourth house. In Cancer Rashi, Jupiter itself is exalted. So both the conditions of ninth lord and Jupiter getting fulfilled. And she had met all the astrologers. So she had consulted all the legendary astrologers from Ken Rao to S.K. Mehta, okay, and had spent good amount of time with all those great astrologers. You just give me a name, and she had met that guy. So this is something very important. Before consulting an astrologer, just look at your chart first. If you don't have a combination for good consultation, you can't ever find one. I have to be very clear in this regard. Secondly, when you're consulting an astrologer, at that time, dasha and transit should be very favorable. Okay, when you are consulting a good astrologer, at that time, the dasha and the transit you are running should be very, very favorable. If dashas and transits are not in favor, then obviously you are suffering, and that's the reason you might feel a need to consult an astrologer. But see, advice is the biggest, what I can say, blessing. One good advice can change your life forever. So, person in bad dasha who's bound to suffer, or person under influence of bad transit who's bound to suffer, he will always suffer because he will never get a good advice. If he would get one, then he can easily just sail through that period. But see, if someone is destined for suffering, you can't just change it. So person under influence of bad dasha, bad transit will also not find a good astrologer. Okay, and the day you are consulting it, that day also matters. So all these factors are there, then only I can say that you will get a good consultation or a bad consultation. Okay, so this is something you need to keep in your mind. Like, I was consulting one of the girl. Okay, she had an exalted Mercury in Lagna, but Jupiter was with Rahu, and afflicted Jupiter aspected by Mars, Ketu. It was itself with Rahu. So Mercury was exalted, the girl was a topper, but unfortunately, even after consulting lot of astrologers, she never got a good consultation. Instead of it, she always got misguided. Okay, getting a good consultation or not isn't an issue, but getting misguided is a big problem. So she always got misguided by people. So as soon as I opened the chart, the Jupiter Rahu combination was there, the combination for the people who misguide or who get misguided by others. So no matter how good Mercury was exalted, but and ninth house was having Saturn. Okay, so ninth house was also afflicted somehow. It was with Malefic. Ninth house was having Saturn, Jupiter, and Rahu was in the 10th. It was Virgo ascendant. Mercury was exalted in Lagna. Ninth Lord Venus was debilitated too. Okay, ninth Lord Venus was debilitated. Ninth house had Saturn. Jupiter was with Rahu in 10th house. All these combination, Jupiter, Rahu, ninth Lord, all afflicted. Never got a good consultation. So keep it in mind before consulting an astrologer. Okay, this was the first technique. The second technique is Mercury and education. See, your education. I've chosen this topic because today is, I think, Basant Panchami, so I thought it would be a good day to give this technique out. See, Nadi texts say Mercury is education. Jupiter is not education. Jupiter is wisdom, or what we call like Jupiter is the wisdom, the knowledge, your practical skills. Jupiter can no doubt make you a minister or the prime minister. Mercury is your mind, intellect. Okay, Mercury is your education, the formal education, how good you are in learning. And moreover, Mercury is your marks, how much marks you score in a competition. Because Mercury is the owner of Virgo sign, the sixth sign in Kalpurush, which shows competition, which shows exams, which shows how you deal with the in competitive atmosphere. Okay, all the exams you are giving. Mercury signify paper, how you write. So Mercury totally rules over education, formal education, and your marks, your exams. A person having bad Mercury in bad houses, afflicted in Papa Kartari Yog, okay, or in the second or 12th to Mercury, there are malefics. Like, there is obstruction to Mercury. If Mercury, second house to it, 12th house to it, has malefics, there is a Pap Kartri Yog, or 7th to Mercury is having malefic, 7th to Mercury is having malefic, second or 12th to Mercury is having malefic, or Mercury itself is with malefics, or it's very weak, debilitated, In unfriendly signs for Mercury are 1, 5, and 9. Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Fiery signs. Fiery sign Mercury isn't considered that good. Yeah, there are conditions when this Mercury gets good, but I will not go into those conditions because it's completely the system of SK Mehta ji. These are the rules of SK Mehta ji. So if I share one rule, there will be an exception to it. If I share second rule, there will be an exception to it too. So for all these things, I think you must buy his book from Goelji. Okay, I will give the number of Goelji in the comment section. You can buy the books from him. He had all the books of SK Mehta ji. So Mercury is very good in Aries sign, 3, 7, and 11. 3, 7, and 11 Rashis, all the Aries Rashi. Mercury is considered to be exalted here by SK Mehta ji. So such a Mercury is very good. Mercury in Virgo is brilliant, excellent. Okay. But yeah, an afflicted Mercury would be very bad. Now thing is, Mercury is your marks. So moreover, Mercury is the kingmaker in education system. Because see, nobody will count your wisdom. Nobody will ask you how much understanding you have. At the end of the day, it's your marks. You are sitting in UPSC exam. It's all about competition. It's all about the marks. How you are able to tackle that exam. You just go through prelims just because you scored good. You go through the mains because you scored good. Yeah, now interview stage comes where your wisdom, your personality, your understanding matters. But interview just counts very less. It's just 275 marks. And the selection, most of the selections are done itself in the main stage. The one who got good score in mains, he don't even gets a decent amount of score in interview, he won't be afflicted. Okay, he would say, okay, it's okay. I would get one service lower than I expected. Okay, but he would get into service because he got good marks in mains exam. So mains exam is all about writing. Okay, so thing is, mm, your marks are your Mercury. In case of Mercury is bad, you will find a very hard time in getting good score in exams, cracking competitive exams, getting scholarships. Very hard time with all these things. Okay, these would be like toughest part of your life to get through an exam, get good marks, get into good institute. Okay, so thing is, Mercury is very important because no matter how intellectual you are, how much wisdom you have, if you have afflicted Mercury, bad Mercury, you will never be able to crack an exam. And to get a good job, whether it's of an IAS or a good corporate job, whether to get into a good tech giant, all you need is good marks. Because if you get good marks, definitely you will get good college, good job. Unless you have to go into fields which require your intellect more, your understanding more, like politics, law. Okay, there are a lot of other fields where your personality, your understanding matters much more than your knowledge, like what you have read or crammed from the books. Like I just gave you example, that girl with afflicted Jupiter. It was it was afflicted. Mars was expecting it. It was with Rahu. Okay, it was in the 10th house. Now 10th house Jupiter, according to Lal Kitab, is very poor. Okay, it's kind of debilitated because 10th house Jupiter, Lal Kitab says it's not good. But that girl is a topper and the topmost university of India. The reason is there is exalted Mercury in Lagna. That's the reason she is able to top. So, thing is, Mercury rules your education, Mercury rules your marks, Mercury rules over scholarships. Unless you have a good Mercury, you can't be successful in all these things. 12th house Mercury is very poor. 12th house Mercury is very bad, I must say. 12th house Mercury hardly gives good results in all these matters. So keep it in mind. Okay. Now the third topic I would like to discuss is aspect of Jupiter. See, Jupiter aspect is never. It's not like it's always good. Or many people say that it's like Amrit, wherever it aspect, it will get saved. That house will get saved. That signification will rise in your life. Like all those fancy things they use with it. But in reality, Jupiter aspects kicks you very hard. Like if condition is if Jupiter is aspecting any house which has the rashis 2, 6, and 10, like if it is aspecting Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, 2, 6, and 10, like if it is aspecting any house which has the rashis 2, 6, and 10, like if it is aspecting Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, 2, 6, and 10, like if it is aspecting Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, Okay, with any of its aspect, fifth, seventh, or ninth. There are three aspects to Jupiter: 5, 7, and 9. If these aspects are falling in a house where there are Rashis 2, 6, or 10, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, any of these Rashis, like if it's aspecting a house where there's Taurus Rashi, or it's Virgo Rashi, or it's Capricorn, then signification of those houses will become very tough for you. Okay, it's now, see, it's not totally up to the aspect. Yeah, that Lord matters, the significator matters. There are lot of factors there, lot of factors, and I will explain all those things in another video where I will be explaining the system of SK Mehtaji. Okay, how to predict using his system. I will cover it in a separate series. Yeah, I have blank chart series remaining, I have D60 series remaining. I will cover all those things. Okay, that's why I'm telling you, buy SK books of SK Mehtaji. You can just read it yourself, because I can't share everything here. It's very difficult. Okay, because there are a lot of factors involved. But yeah, I will share it. Just give me feedback on these techniques, how it's working, especially the Jupiter technique, and then I will do it in a much systematic way. So thing is, your Jupiter, if it is aspecting Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn Rashi, so house where it is aspecting, that house where somewhere get afflicted, or where it is somewhere will get weak, its significations will get weak, its living and non-living signification will somewhere get reduced. Like suppose seventh house, so somewhere it will harm the marriage relationships. Okay, especially the living signification, because benefits do more are more concerned with the living significations. The relatives are signified with that house, the body part signified by that house. Like seventh house signify your kidneys, your private organs, your prostate gland, that area. Okay, so these are the living things associated. Seventh house is of wife, seventh house is of mothers. Okay, maternal grandmother. Seventh house is your elder sibling of the father. Okay, seventh house is the your grandfather's younger siblings. So these are the living significations for any houses. So especially if Jupiter is aspecting any house where its debilitation aspects fall, this is called debilitation aspect or niche ka aspect. Okay, aspect of fall, there are several words for it. So that house somewhere gets weak, the living significations somewhere gets weak. Okay, diseases related to that part, or problems with those relatives, or lives of those relatives getting messed up badly. Okay, or you are suffering in those areas of life, like seventh house, then marriage. Like suppose Pisces ascendant, Jupiter is in third house. Suppose Pisces ascendant, Jupiter is in third house, Taurus. So I told you, according to SK Mehta, it's debilitated, it's niche. Now if now this Jupiter is aspecting seventh house from fifth aspect, and seventh house is Virgo Rashi. Again, it's the aspect of fall. So it will give results of niche. So in such a placement where Pisces Lagna, Jupiter itself debilitated in third house, giving an aspect of fall in the seventh house, it's not good for marriage relationships. Okay, sometimes for business also. Okay, sometimes for business also. So just apply this technique, like if aspect of fall of Jupiter is falling in the 10th house, then in profession it can be a bit problematic sometimes, or something to do with father's family can go wrong. Okay, this is one technique. Now when it will give good results, when the Jupiter aspects will give good results, it will give good results when it is aspecting an house where its exaltation Rashi falls, where there is the exaltation Rashi of Jupiter, 4, 8, 12. 4, 8, 12 Rashis are exaltation Rashis of Jupiter, because it's watery sign. In watery signs, Jupiter gets most comfortable, it's exalted. So if Jupiter is aspecting any house where there is a watery Rashi, 4, 8, 12, then it will give very good results related to those Rashis. The good results. Like suppose Aquarius ascendant, Jupiter in the fourth house, which is aspecting 10th house. Now 10th house is Scorpio Rashi, exalted, like where Jupiter gets exalted, Rashi wise. So it will give good results related to profession, okay, or father's family, father's wealth, living and non-living significations both, but give more importance to living significations, because benefics have much to do with living than non-living. Non-living things are more associated with malefic planets, Saturn, Rahu, Mars. Okay, so if Jupiter is aspecting any house, which is having exaltation Rashi of its like 4 at 12, then that house where it's expecting, where these Rashis fall, then you can expect good results later to it. But see, there are a lot of rules, like you must see its lord, you must see which planet is sitting there, you must see whether that house is in Papakarti or Shubhkarti, what's the Bhav Bal, Ashtak Varg Bal. Well, no, see, for conditions, there are a lot of conditions. So I'm just giving a basic technique. Don't take it as a final thing. It's just 1% of it. But yeah, this 1% will be very enough, more than sufficient to predict decently if you know the basics well, if you know the other combinations well. So keep it in mind, because don't be like it's the ultimate thing. Because I just told you the debilitation for Jupiter. I didn't told you when it gets exalted, or when that debilitation gets bhang, neej bhang. Because according to SK Mehta ji, if a planet is debilitated, suppose Jupiter, it's debilitated in Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Okay, now this Jupiter, if somehow gets associated with Saturn by aspect or conjunction, like if Saturn aspects this Jupiter in Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, earthy signs, or if Saturn is conjunct this Jupiter in Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn signs, then this Jupiter's nature will get reversed. It will become exalted. It will behave as exalted. It will be no more an debilitated planet. Now look at the Kundli horoscope of Barack Obama, President of USA, the most loved person, I think. Saturn and Jupiter in Lagna. People will say, okay, Jupiter is debilitated in Lagna. How he got a big position, how he came rise to the biggest position in the country. Reason is it's with a Saturn. Saturn is causing a niche bhang of it. It's reversing its signification, or its dignity. Now when it's reversing it, it is making it exalted. So it's more of an exalted Jupiter in Lagna, which gave him that personality, that position, that nature of being always down to the earth. Okay, that wisdom. So it's more of a exalted Jupiter in the chart of Barack Obama than debilitated. Okay, so it's acting as an exalted planet there, making him rise to the position of USA, president of USA. So apply all these rules. It's not the complete thing, but I try to share as much as possible in order to avoid any confusions, because most of you will, this concept will be new, because most of you till now use Cancer as an exaltation Rashi for Jupiter, but this will be a kind of new perspective, new technique for you, where you will be like seeing the charts in a new way. Like now you have multiple Rashis for exaltation and debilitation for Jupiter, and it works very well, very well. I've tested it in over 1,000 charts. After testing it on 1,000 charts, I'm sharing it out, so there must be something. So please work on it. And yeah, it was all for today. Thank you.